Featuring the ASDB logo, the title reads, "A Message from ASDB Superintendent Annette Reichman."
Hello, ASDB community. I am Annette Reichman, Superintendent of the Arizona State Schools for the Deaf and Blind, or ASDB. Today is June 15th, 2023, and I wanted to share a brief message with all of you about House Bill, or HB 2456. As you all know, back in April, HB 2456 was passed into law, and Governor Hobbs signed it, saying that ASDB will continue for 4 more years. This is wonderful news for all of us. We will continue operations. Some of you may be a little bit confused. ASDB has been here for a very long time, since 1912, right? So why did the state legislature and the governor have to sign a bill for the continuation of ASDB? That's a good question. Most of us don't realize or know that process. Arizona has a law stating that all state agencies are required to undergo a thorough review, which is called a sunset review. The sunset review is then presented to the state legislature, and the state legislature goes over those facts and decides whether each state agency will continue or will be shut down. The Arizona State Legislature historically has authorized the continuation of all state agencies and never shut any of them down, including ASDB. That's never even been a question or a discussion. We have always been reauthorized to continue operating. Every 10 years, ASDB has this review, and the review is conducted by the Arizona Auditor General's Office. They come to our campuses, they review our programs, our finances, and do a deep and thorough review into all of our operations. Then they write a report. They present that report to us, and we present it to the state legislature. In that report, there are findings and other things that we may need to fix, change, or improve, as well as some recommendations for us. The last time that happened, in 2012, the Auditor General did their typical review with us, provided the report to us, we looked over everything, and followed up with the repairs and improvements that they wanted us to make. The state legislature reviewed the report. It passed both the House and the Senate, and the governor signed the continuation of ASDB for an additional 10 years. Jumping forward to 2022, last year, it was time for our next audit. The Auditor General, or AG, came to conduct their review again with us, and we were ready for them. They came and again looked at all of our programs, our finances, analyzed how we operate, and they wrote a report. They gave us the report, and in that report there was one finding which we needed to repair and correct, make some improvements, and there were 8 recommendations. We agreed with all 8 of the recommendations, and we then submitted the report to the state legislature. We thought the process would be the same as it always had been. House Bill 2456 passed the House without any issues and then was sent over to the Senate for approval. We thought it would be just as easy in the Senate, but we were quite mistaken. The bill was held in the Senate. We waited for week after week after week, and we began to feel quite concerned. The Senate had not passed House Bill 2456, and we started to consider what that would mean for ASDB if they were considering shutting us down. So we reached out to all of you, the deaf community, the blind community, Arizona Association of the Deaf, Arizona Commission for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, Savvy, ACBVI, all of these wonderful organizations that support us. We also reached out to the TV and print media to draw attention to the situation in the Senate, to look into why this bill was being held. Our community was outstanding. You decided to advocate in every way that you could. You showed up at the Senate. You reached out to them via email, phone call, in-person visits, and you informed them of the critical nature of ASDB's education and the services that we provide to deaf, blind, and deaf-blind students. The senators heard you. You had a significant impact on them. They had heated internal debates about whether to pass HB 2456, giving us 1 more year or 8 more years or 10 more years. Eventually, they agreed to a 4-year continuation. They passed HB 2456 with a 4-year continuation and sent that bill back to the House. The House had originally agreed to give us 8 years, but they accepted the change to a 4-year continuation. So the 4-year continuation passed to the House, and then it went to Governor Hobbs' desk for signature. And she did accept the 4-year continuation and signed it. So now ASDB is officially granted operation for an additional 4 years. Again, this is wonderful news. And that happened because of you. Without your involvement, your support, we don't know what might have happened to ASDB. But we are here today, continuing to operate for the next 4 years. Over the next 4 years, we have plans to go back to the state legislature and talk about what we do and consider how to best tell them about our students, about their unique needs, and the importance of the education that we provide to them. Starting in the fall, we plan to begin inviting state legislators to come and visit our campuses and take a look around. We want them to see Phoenix campus as well as Tucson campus. We want them to meet our students, meet all of you, our teachers, our staff, our community members, so that they can see for themselves how incredible what we do on ASDB campuses is and how important it is. So that is our plan. We will continue to educate our legislators. We will continue to reach out to them and attempt to involve them so that they are more familiar with ASDB and our students and their needs. We could potentially go back to the state legislature next year and ask for an extension beyond the original 4 years. We could ask for an additional 1, 2, 3, or 4 years. We may do that next year or in 2 years. However, if we're not granted that extension, that means that the Auditor General will come back in 4 years, which would be in 2026, to do another complete audit. And we would receive another report, which we would then take to the legislature. And again, the legislature would have to decide whether to grant continuation of ASDB or not. Your involvement and support have been absolutely critical to our success as an agency in providing the education that our students need in order to meet their unique needs. Thank you so very much. I am incredibly grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you.
The graphic reads, powered by ASDB Media. Copyright 2023, Arizona State Schools for the Deaf and the Blind. All rights reserved.